5 people you should never be kind to in old age if you want to protect your peace and happiness. Hey there, friends. Pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and let's have a heart-to-heart. I'm in my late 80s now, and if there's one thing I've learned over the decades, it's that life is too precious to waste on people who drain your energy or dim your light. Today, I want to share some hard-earned wisdom about protecting your peace and happiness as you age. This isn't about being cold or unkind. It's about being wise with your heart and time. After all, in our golden years, we deserve to live with joy, not stress. The topic today might sound a little tough. 5 people you should never be kind to in old age if you want to protect your peace and happiness. Now, I know kindness is a cornerstone of a good life. I've spent years volunteering, helping neighbors, and lending a hand. There comes a point when you realize that some folks, no matter how much you give, will take more than you can afford to lose. Your peace, your energy, even your health. I've been there and I've seen it in friends, too. So, let's talk about 5 types of people you might need to set boundaries with to keep your heart full and your spirit strong. This isn't about cutting people off without thought. It's about recognizing patterns that hurt you and choosing to protect yourself. I'll share stories from my own life, examples that hit close to home, and practical tips to help you navigate these situations. By the end, you'll feel empowered to guard your happiness without guilt. So let's dive in, shall we? 1. The chronic complainer. First up, let's talk about the chronic complainer. You know the type. Every conversation is a laundry list of problems, and no matter what you say, they're never satisfied. I had a friend, let's call her Betty, who was like this. We'd meet for lunch, and for 2 hours, she complained about her kids, her aches, the weather, you name it. I try to offer advice or share something positive, but she'd brush it off and dive right back into her woes. At first, I felt sorry for her. I'd listen, nod, and try to cheer her up, but after months of this, I noticed I was dreading our lunches. I'd come home exhausted, my own joy sapped. It wasn't until my daughter pointed it out that I realized Betty's negativity was rubbing off on me. I wasn't sleeping as well, and I was even starting to complain more myself. Here's the thing. Chronic complainers often don't want solutions. They're comfortable in their cycle of negativity, and your kindness, your time, your empathy gets swallowed up without making a difference. In your older years, you can't afford to let someone else's gloom cloud your days. Protect your peace by setting boundaries. You don't have to cut them off completely, but limit your exposure. For me, I started seeing Betty less often and suggested group outings instead of one-on-one talks. It helped me stay compassionate without losing my own spark. Tip: if you've got a chronic complainer in your life, try redirecting the conversation to something neutral like a movie or a hobby. If that doesn't work, politely excuse yourself after a short chat. Your peace is worth it. 2. The user. Next, let's talk about the user, someone who only reaches out when they need something. I learned this lesson the hard way with a neighbor, Tom. Tom was charming, always ready with a smile, but every time he knocked on my door, it was for a favor. Can you watch my dog? Can you lend me $20? Can you drive me to the store? I was happy to help at first. I mean, that's what neighbors do, right? But over time, I noticed Tom never returned the favors. He'd promised to pay me back or help with my yard, but it never happened. Worse, he'd vanish when I needed support, like when I was recovering from knee surgery and could have used a hand with groceries. It hit me. Tom wasn't my friend. He was using my kindness to make his life easier. In your golden years, your energy and resources are precious. Users will drain both without a second thought. Protect your happiness by saying no when you need to. It's not selfish, it's self-preservation. I started telling Tom I was busy or couldn't help, and you know what? He stopped coming around as much. And that was okay. I had more time for people who value me, not just what I could do for them. Tip: practice saying no kindly but firmly. Try something like, I'm sorry I can't help this time, but I hope you find a solution. It sets a boundary without burning bridges. 3. The drama magnet. Oh, the drama magnet. These folks thrive on chaos, and they'll pull you into their storms if you let them. I had a cousin, Linda, who was a classic drama magnet. Every family gathering, She'd have a new crisis, a fight with her boss, a feud with a friend, or some scandal she just had to share. She'd call me late at night, sobbing, and I'd spend hours calming her down, only to find out later that she'd exaggerated the whole thing. At first, I thought I was being a good cousin by listening and offering advice. But Linda's drama started spilling into my life. I'd worry about her problems, lose sleep, and feel anxious about the next call. It wasn't until I talked to my pastor that I realized I didn't have to be her crisis counselor. My kindness was enabling her to keep stirring up chaos. As you age, you need calm, not chaos. Drama magnets will disrupt your peace if you let them. Protect yourself by stepping back. You can still care about them, but don't get sucked into their whirlwind. I told Linda I could only talk during the day and kept our chats short. It wasn't easy, but it gave me back my serenity. Tip: if a drama magnet tries to pull you in, stay neutral and avoid taking sides. Say something like, "That sounds tough. I'm sure you'll figure it out." Then change the subject or end the conversation. For the critic, then there's the critic. Someone who always has something negative to say about you or your choices. I had a friend, Margaret, who was like this. She'd comment on everything. My clothes, that sweater's a bit dated, don't you think? My hobbies, why waste time on gardening? Even my cooking, you should have used less salt. At first, I laughed it off, thinking she was just being honest. But over time, her words started chipping away at my confidence. In your older years, you've earned the right to live your way, without someone second-guessing you. Critics like Margaret might think they're helping, but their constant judgment can erode your happiness. Protect your peace by distancing yourself or addressing it directly. I finally told Margaret, "I appreciate your thoughts, but I'm happy with how I do things." It was awkward, but it set a boundary. She toned down the criticism, and our friendship became healthier. Tip: if a critic's comments sting, try responding calmly with, "Thanks for your opinion, but I'm comfortable with my choices." If they persist, spend less time with them. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. 5. The energy vampire. Finally, let's talk about the energy vampire. This person might not complain, use you, or criticize, but they leave you feeling drained every time you're around them. I had a colleague, Susan, who was like this. She wasn't mean or dramatic, but conversations with her felt heavy. She'd talk endlessly about her worries or dwell on the past, and I'd walk away feeling like I'd run a marathon. Energy vampires might not mean to exhaust you, but their presence can sap your vitality. In your later years, you need people who energize you, not deplete you. Protect your happiness by limiting time with energy vampires. I started meeting Susan in group settings or keeping our chats brief. It made a huge difference. I had more energy for my grandkids, my garden, and the things that brought me joy. Tip: pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. If you're consistently drained, cut back on one-on-one time. Focus on relationships that leave you feeling refreshed and happy. Well, friends, we've covered a lot today. Protecting your peace and happiness in your golden years isn't about being unkind. It's about being wise. The chronic complainer, the user, the drama magnet, the critic, and the energy vampire. They might not mean to harm you, but their patterns can steal your joy if you let them. By setting boundaries, saying no when you need to, and choosing who you spend your time with, you're not just protecting yourself. You're honoring the life you've built. I've learned these lessons the hard way, and I hope my stories help you see that you're not alone. Whether a friend like Betty, a neighbor like Tom, or a cousin like Linda, we all meet people who challenge our peace. But here's the good news. You have the power to choose who gets your time and energy. You've earned that right. So, here's my challenge to you. Take a moment to think about the people in your life. Are there any who fit these patterns? If so, what's one small step you can take to set a boundary? Maybe it's shortening a phone call, saying no to a favor, or redirecting a negative conversation. Start small, and you'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel. Thanks for sitting with me today. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share with a friend, and subscribe for more wisdom from the heart. Let's keep this conversation going. Drop a comment below and tell me about a boundary you've set to protect your peace. I read everyone, and I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep shining, keep smiling, and keep choosing happiness. See you soon.